I got thought a little bit on, no, he's playing with 18s, he's not ready. And I said, there's no chance. Like, if I'm the boss of this team, he's coming up training with me and I'll show you he can play. I played so much. It's been my life since I was 5 years old or when I started. And so it came a few years after I retired, and Arsène and some other coaches advised me to do it. And even one, actually, a coach that I had him as a player. He said, like, you see the game's the best I've had any player to see the tactical parts of the game. And that gave me the confidence, and that's probably one of my strengths, that I can see what's going on the pitch from when I'm on the side. And I heard it a few times in a few interviews, like, oh yeah, but you were like the rock star a bit of the of the olden days, and maybe didn't think you would become a coach and this and that. And often maybe you have a stereotype of who's going to be the coach. It's like the one that wanted to be the captain and the one that wanted to be organized, and you can almost see it. And maybe then I come from the side, from a different angle, because I've had some experiences when I've been with an assistant or this and that, when they got angry with players, and maybe I can see it from a different way. But like, see it from the players' way. I've actually experienced what happened here and see it a little bit differently. So I'm quite happy when people say it in that way, because it's we're not always, everybody's the same. So I take it as a compliment when people say, oh, I didn't see you becoming a coach. I thought maybe like Keon would like to be a coach, like a little bit how they were, but it all depends how you are as a human being as well. And that's why I think psychology is interesting. Like for me, for example, when we played, some players were very vocal, like even into the media, how we should play and this and that. And I always thought, what are you talking about? You're not the manager. If you may be the captain and you have a private conversation with the manager, you might have a talk about the tactics and stuff. And personally, I always felt like I have a great manager. I believe in him totally. It's not for me to stand talking about tactics. Of course, I have an opinion, a quite strong opinion, but it's not really valid. So you see things different. Of course, there's discussion in the dressing room. You'll stand up if someone challenged how you do and you discuss it. But out of it, I think it's everybody's different how they see it. You probably develop yourself as a human being to try to understand different managers. Like, I worked really well with Arsène because it was logic. You could see why he made certain decisions. You would understand what he did. He was very strong on we were allowed to be individuals and be who we were, but like, you show respect to people, arrogance to make your head blow away. Like you should, like there was certain behaviors that he was very strong at, and or how you spoke to each other. People look from, oh, that's a massive player, that's a massive. Oh, they can say whatever. Like, no. There is respect to whoever is you speak to, and stuff like that. You could see other managers, other people have different values, different things, and so yeah, everybody is not the same. And been with my manager for 10 years, and I could say probably my national team coach was similar. It's you learn. Obviously, Arsène was one of them I spoke to about if he thought I should coach or not. No, he was just like delighted. He thought it would be great for me and like all that. And I spoke to Arsène, I spoke to my old national team coaches and some people, and they thought I could be good at it. So then I was like, okay, I'll give it a go. I got the advice as an ex-player, you can jump over some hurdles maybe because of your name. And they said, don't do that, because then it's much easier to fail because you don't have the experience that you need. The young players are the future, and the generations are different in those days than it was when I played. So I got the advice to I should start with younger players to learn from them, not them learning from me. I learn from them how they see it, not being this coach that always oh, when I played, it was like this. And when it was this, we do this. And take that and throw that in the bin and try to learn from scratch. I did Arsenal 15s, I think 16s, 19s in the Champions League. The 23s was an assistant in Germany, and then was an assistant at Arsenal and had an interim coach there. So I tried always to take certain steps that was well thought through to learn things, and spoke to a lot of people to get advice or what I think was the best way, not for me to quickly go to the top, but what would make me ready to go to the top. I had to learn from them when you started coaching 15-year-olds. Of course, maybe my tactical knowledge and stuff, I know a bit more than you use when you play as a 15-year-old, but I felt I should learn. And I learned so much from them. So, of course, I have a feeling of extreme happiness when they make it. Not for myself. It's just like, you know how hard they work. People always just see it on the TV, or they... Of course, football players are spoiled in one way because they get paid to do what they love to do, but they do sacrifice a lot of other things as well that most other teenagers can do. And it's not always so easy when you're young, and there's quite an honest conversation when you do well, you don't do well, and that's something maybe for players to learn as well, like, oh, he said I didn't do well. Yeah, that's conversation. We need to learn that for you to get better. We need to understand each other, that we have to be open for those conversations. And that's, from a young age, and maybe not so easy. And so they learn a lot, and they do such development that it's amazing to see them. Bukayo, I had him when he was 15, I think. You try to help players to get a career. And especially as a youth coach, even if you win things and stuff, that's not important. The important thing is for me to teach him certain things that, like, stepping stones that he'll be ready for the first team. That's my job. But like Bukayo, obviously, he's like, did all the work himself, worked hard, was a very good professional. When I had the 23s at Arsenal, I said, I'm going to take up Bukayo to the 23s. And I got thought a little bit on, no, he's playing with 18s, he's not ready. And I said, there's no chance. Like, if I'm the boss of this team, he's coming up training with me, and I'll show you he can play. And so that sometimes as a coach, you have to have those discussions where people don't agree with you. And but Bukayo showed all the time what he can do, and his decision-making and how he does things, it's always been good. It's not just then about his size or how powerful he is when he's young. It's like, if he can do those things, and he crosses at the right time, hits the right person, or he dribbles at the right time, to try to learn these fundamentals. That for me was important with Bukayo, because you could see that one from a young age, that he was doing it even if he was strong and stuff like that. And it feels so nice to just see them, they're getting better. It was an amazing honor. And so it's different, how do you say, mixed emotions. Because everybody knows, but I wanted to have some sort of staff. I wanted to have an assistant that could be with me. And I didn't get that. And that was tough, because then it's difficult to get everything going. But I learned a lot, and players responded. I felt in the end I pushed through, because I knew I wouldn't be the manager for the long run regardless. I knew what the future of the club was, and it's the young players. And so I gave the debut, I think, from Emil. I think he started at Everton. But for me, that was important. That's the future of Arsenal Football Club. And I managed at least to put a stamp on that I could push those players to that. And obviously, as an Arsenal man, it was a great honor to stand there. I've done that. And from that, you push on. You have to see the human being. It's like, no criticism to any other coach in any shape or form, but like, maybe that's how I am as a human being. I always try to see the person. Everybody's not the same. I had, for example, an old national team coach that taught me so much. He would just come to my room. I knew I didn't sleep at night, for example. He would come at like 1 o'clock at night. So, oh, do you want to talk about football? He would sit there till 3 a.m. And I would fight for him. Like, I love him. I still love him to this day. And I think there's so much more to those things, and if you look at the generations, like I've tried to say, like, it doesn't matter what I think, it's them. I need to do everything to help them and to make them play well. There could be other things you need to help them with. It's not just, oh, why did he do that? Why did this one do that? Like, yeah, it's a totally different generation to us. I try at least to like take my time then to understand the problem, or like, why is that play always late? And you get annoyed, and people get annoyed, and then it's this and that. Like, okay, but maybe we happen a few times you sit on the grass for 2-3 hours and try to like understand. There might be an issue behind it that you need to solve. And when you solve it, it's a lot easier than just finding them. So for me, at least, that's my leadership skill with the players. Try to understand them and try to, of course, you're the manager, and like when we train, you train. That's a different way of working, and when there's certain things. But then as well, I believe at least you have to see the human being as well behind the football player. I spend a lot of time at Arsenal with our psychologists to sit and learn and how do you help them with pressure and this and that. The insight he gave me and how to behave as a coach and what I need to do, that was invaluable. Like, I've done so much and I spent so much on that part because it's them. I'm just the coach. I need to get my players to be at that top of their level. And like, we don't think about it some. Of course, we can say, oh, when we played, there was a lot of pressure with this and that. Yeah, but like, they get caned every day on social media. And yeah, can they cope with that? Does that affect them when they play football? If I know how they are, and this I learned from some coaches, but I might get 5-10% more out of them. And when we're in a tight game and we need those 5-10%, we might win. Yeah, what's next? That's the question. No, I want to be a manager, and we've had some nice offers and stuff, and that hasn't worked in the way I maybe wanted to work. I think it's important that when you take that step, it's the correct one, and you feel good about it. But owners and players, all kinds of things. But it's an exciting step, and really, really looking forward to it.